What is up, guys? It's Sorascope here, and today we are doing a base game only family home. So this ended up being built on a 20 by 15 to start, and then I quickly realized that it wasn't going to be enough space, so I ended up putting it on a 30 by 20. It ends up being 3-bed, 2-bath, and both of the bathrooms are ensuite, I guess. The one bathroom is shared between the teen that I had in mind and then the 2 children, and the other is an ensuite to the parents' home. I wasn't thinking that they had a whole lot of friends over all the time and maybe they just kept to themselves. I was honestly thinking that maybe the parent would be like a secret agent or something, if that was even possible for them to do, but yeah. So you can see it starts out really, really small, but I really needed to make it bigger. You can see I'm like, maybe a little bit more room, just a little bit more. And I kept adding and adding, and I think I moved it from the 20 by 15 in Willow Creek across the street to one of the 30 by 20s, if I remember correct. So I didn't have much in mind for this family, just to be your stereotypical, maybe middle class home. And I think it turned out really nice. They end up having more of a traditional vibe to the house. And it's, I don't know, I mean, I really liked it. For it being base game only, I think it turned out pretty nice. So hopefully you guys like it. One cool thing that I ended up building on the front of the house, on the left side that's on the screen right now, is I did make a fake garage. And that turned out pretty good. The house also doesn't stay this green color. I end up, I think, using the same siding, but I turned it blue, if I remember correct. So it looks really nice. I end up making most of the color scheme of the house blue and white on the inside. We don't use any dark woods. I usually go to the dark woods for like a cop-out, honestly, because that's something that I'm more comfortable building with. So I wanted to change that up, and I think it worked out pretty well. Here you can see I'm just making a little driveway and a little path into the house, and it looks really nice. One thing that I've been trying to mess with recently is mixing up wallpapers, especially for like the outside, and adding accent walls and things like that. And I think I did a pretty good job. I didn't do too much, but just with the outside, like the top, I'm sorry, the piece that's on the roof, with like the little stone, I thought that looked really, really cute. It just looked really good, so I was super happy with that once I finished it. Here soon you'll see that I ended up moving it to the 30 by 20 like I had said earlier, and it needed that extra bump up in space so I could add a nice proper backyard and some fencing, and it turns out really good. Especially the fake garage, like it just looked so small. Just looking at it now, I'm like, oh wow, that's really small. I don't even think a car could like, fit through that. So yeah, this is a medium wall height, so that's why I decided to use one of the nicer, fancier doors. So I think that looked pretty cool. And here you go. You can see that I moved it to the 30 by 20, and I started expanding the house a little bit more. Which honestly, it worked out so much. I needed that extra space. Not even just for like the roofing or anything like that, just to make the roofing look more normal, I guess, but I needed the garage to look okay, and I needed to expand that one tile, which I actually think I waited a little bit. I didn't do that right away. Here you can see I'm putting down some of the basic ideas for landscaping. I didn't go too overboard. I just wanted to pick out the colors that looked good. And it ended up being white and yellow and obviously green. And then I think I mixed in some purple later on. And it looks okay. And I also decided to put terrain paint down, which I don't know why I did this so early. I think I just wanted the driveway to look a little better. It gives the driveway more depth, I think, to it, instead of it just being like a flat object on the ground. So, I don't know, I like it. Those are the basic plants that I end up using for the landscaping around the lot. And here you can see I started, I guess, continuing with more terrain paint. I don't know why I went so crazy with this. Oh, I was erasing it. That's what happened, because it was making me mad. And I was like, oh, I can't forget the trash bin. I always forget my trash bin. Like, it never fails when I'm building a house. I'm like, oh, trash bin. it's gone. Nope. And I ended up working on the backyard, I think, a little bit first, and then expanding the house more. And you could see I ended up expanding the house probably like 3 times. I ended up cutting out some of it because it was just too much. And I couldn't find a good traditional styled fence to work with. So you can see I pause for a second here, and then I look at the neighbor's fence, and I was just like, I want this fence. And it was really funny because I was like, this is it. This is a traditional looking base game fence. Well, pretty much everything in base game is, yeah, right there. See, I was like, this is the fence that I want. So I literally stole the neighbor's fence. They do have a pool, a sandbox, and I think I added monkey bars, if I remember correct. It was monkey bars or a swing set, but I wanted to make sure that the kids and even the teen had plenty of activities, and the parents too. I mean, they've got the pool, there's a grilling area too I added, some lounge chairs, which I'm so happy that they brought with base game. I've never been so excited about an item until we got lounge chairs. And I know that sounds really silly, but it's just, they're really cool. I mean, your son can sunbathe on them, and they just look so much more relaxed with it. I don't know, I like it a lot. Here you can see I was trying to use a different tile for the backyard than I did with the, oh my gosh, what is it called? The driveway, and it was changing both of them, and it was so frustrating. It made me really mad. Here you can see I ended up putting in the hot tub, and I moved this grilling area. Don't worry, I know it looks really bad. I moved it to the back patio where the sliding glass door will be, so it looks a lot better. And then where that stuff was is where I think the kids' items go, as well as the sandbox, which is fully functional. They can build sand castles in it. I did play test it, so I was really excited about that. It looks really cool, and it's nice to see that the kids can build little sand sculptures back there. And it's little things like that that you look at and you're like, oh, I didn't even think that you could make your own sandbox in the game, because I don't think we have them. We have kiddie pools and stuff, but no sandboxes. That's like a missed opportunity. Here you can see that I'm pulling some items out of the debug menu for the grill area. So I pulled out a little bottle of lighter fluid, a long lighter, a grill brush, and then I think like a little, it's supposed to look like a basting brush, I guess. And I don't even know why I pulled out the red shelf there. I thought it was going to give me issues, but it didn't, so. But it looks really cool, and I think I pulled out like a fire extinguisher or something too. Something like that. To stick in the corner, just, you know, in case they decide they want to light the grill on fire. So you know how Sims are, that's all they ever do. So, here you can see I started expanding the garage, and it looks a lot better, for sure. Once I realized that, like, I was like, oh, it needed to be one more tile wide, for sure. It absolutely needed it. So, it looks pretty cool. I'm really happy with it. So it's definitely something, like, I really enjoy making the faux garages just because of how they look in the houses. Oh, I did end up putting the monkey bars. I ended up expanding the patio area because it looked too small back here too. I didn't want Sims to have any pathing issues, so I think it worked out. The backyard has pretty much come together at this point. I did end up expanding the fence, and it looks pretty nice. I gave them a little bit more space on the side because I don't like using up the entirety of the lot just for fencing and the house. I like having some open space for landscaping and stuff, or, you know, just open space on the lot. So you can see I added a little bit of landscaping behind the hot tub, which I thought looked cool, and I did line the pathways with all these lights, so it looks really pretty at night, especially that hot tub. I know a lot of people were upset because that was the only item that we got for the 20th anniversary, which, don't get me wrong, I completely understand. I think we should have maybe gotten like a throwback pack. I would have liked maybe a hot date even, or something to that effect, just because I feel like the Sims flirty interactions and stuff and dates are it's very linear. It's very, like, it's the same thing. That's all you do is you go out on the date, you talk with your Sim, you kiss, you maybe woohoo a little bit, and that's it. That's the end of it. So there's nothing really exciting about going on dates in this game to me. Of course, that's just my opinion, but I think that would have been pretty great. Here you can see I ended up putting a car in the driveway just to look like a little family car, and I ended up picking out some trees that I was trying to match with the surroundings of Willow Creek. Now, Willow Creek's very pretty, and it has very nice lighting, I guess. And it's sometimes the shadows are really harsh, at least from what I've seen. Like, I think the shadow underneath the trees is maybe just a little too dark, just a little bit. But again, maybe that's just me. It feels like the sun is very intense in this area, so it casts really harsh shadows. If you try to place anything that's not base game, like maybe some of the what pack is it from? The Salvadorada area. A lot of those items have really harsh shadows, and I feel like they're worse in this area, and that makes me kind of sad. I liked what I did here with the little tree overhanging and then some of the little plants around it. So this is why I left that extra space, just to add some depth to the yard and, you know, make it look pretty nice. And I like the fact that I had the tree overhanging from the pool. I know that might be a little stressful for some people. For me personally, in real life, that would stress me out, especially if I didn't have like one of the screens on it. But it looked okay. It turned out nice. Oh, and here you can see I put the tree in the pool by accident because I clicked on it, and I was like, oh no, I had it in the perfect spot, so I had to maneuver all of the plants around again. I do like to go around with the terrain paint and line the whole entirety of the house. Again, it's just to add depth, especially because I didn't put it on foundation. I find that a lot more vital to making the house look like it's supposed to be there and it's not just an object thrown onto the land. And we're finally moving on into the inside, into the interior. So the floor plan's pretty simple. So here's the kids' room, the parents' room that you saw right there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I started placing stuff into the kitchen, and that's literally the extent of it. I did a very open floor plan, especially for it being a more traditional house. I wanted it to be, I guess for the family, just more open and inviting for them, and maybe they like to spend a lot of time together. I was thinking that the parents probably traveled a lot before they had kids. I put one of the cork boards in the parents' room with a bunch of postcards on it, and I think it looks pretty nice. Honestly, I'm not too sure why I skipped most of the floor plan. I think that was a complete accident, but it's too late now. So here we go for the kitchen. I ended up putting these shelves above the microwave, and because it's base game, I just couldn't find enough objects to clutter it up. So I ended up pulling the corner counter down and putting a second one underneath it, so it looked like there's like a double counter space. So it worked out okay. Those gray floors I found to be honestly some of the prettiest flooring that I've ever seen. I actually like that more than the cats and dogs flooring, and that says a lot because I love that flooring so much. And I realized that it ended up being kind of bland at first, but I ended up spicing it up with like lots of color from plants and whatnot, and it was pretty difficult with the, I guess the white and very, very beige color scheme. That's what kind of threw me off a little bit. Now don't worry, I know the dining table looks a little stressful right now, but it does not stay there. It ends up moving. I believe I moved it into the middle, put a nice rug under it, and it looks really nice. So yeah, trust me, I promise. When I looked back at the recording and I saw that I tried to put the dining table there, I was like, what is wrong with me? That looks so bad. But yeah, it ends up looking okay. So I wanted to extend the kitchen a little bit here, but I don't think I left that. I think I ended up putting a china hutch there later on. Here you can see I've got the basic layout of the house done already. So I wanted the two kids' rooms, which I assumed would be girls, whether they're children or maybe teens that really like a lot of pink and color. That's their room. I think I ended up putting a lot of toys and stuff, so I kind of aimed it more towards children. They have this shared bathroom. So the teen and the two kids share this bathroom. There's doors on either side of it. This is something I've done before, and I really like the way this looks, specifically because I love the, what are they called? Jack and Jill bathrooms, I think they're called. They just look really nice. It's very nice that they each have their own entryway and they don't have to like cut through either the other sibling's bedroom, and they can just walk in whenever they want. They could lock both the doors and go to the bathroom or whatever. Like, I think it looks really nice. They've got a double counter space and a really nice window in here, and I think I put a medicine cabinet and maybe some plants and some other stuff, but I kept it pretty simple for your basic, you know, bathroom decor. It's not anything super, super fancy. I really didn't want to clutter it too much because I kind of imagined that the parents would clean everything. I mean, they would probably clean the entire bathroom for the kids top to bottom, or maybe the teen is even really neat so they clean it. I can't imagine 3 kids sharing one bathroom personally. I'm sure that bathroom is kind of a wreck. But yeah. There you can see I did a neat little trick with the shower stall, and I merged the shower into the wall, so the I don't know if it's called a backsplash, but the back side of the tub is actually the wallpaper. And the bathtub is still fully functional that way, so it looks really nice. So you just have the glass paneling and then a little bit of tile on the sides of the tub, but the back is whatever you have. So it looks really nice. And here you can see I'm just adding a couple towels and small things around the place. I really like hanging the little towels on the edge of the doors. It seems so realistic to me that you would hang, I'm sorry, not towels, but your bathrobe. It seems so realistic that you'd hang your bathrobe on like maybe a hook that's above the door because you'd want it to dry there, right? So it looks cool. I wanted to put a another separate towel rack, but I literally had no space left. So that kind of stressed me out a little bit. I think I cut out most of the bathroom because I was like, oh, I'm just going to give the parents a 2-tile ensuite. But I thought it was kind of mean that the kids had this really nice big ensuite and the parents had a 2x2 ensuite with just a shower and whatnot. So I ended up expanding it and getting them a shower tub combo, a sink, and the toilet like, you know, a proper bathroom should have. The parents' bedroom is pretty similar to the exterior and the living area. So it's very blue, very white, very neat, definitely clean, taken care of. I did give them a nice little fan because I forgot that they added them into base game and they weren't just with Island Living. So it looks really nice. I gave them some shades, I think here, or, oh no, I give them curtains, okay. And they got more of a, it's like an in-between a rustic and traditional. I definitely want to say it's more rustic in their bedroom, but maybe they're older and they traveled and they probably like that type of style. So I thought it looked really nice, but I kept it pretty clean. I got them a TV, a plant, some pictures, and like I said, I did end up giving them that cork board with all the postcards on it, which I love it. And honestly, I forget that that's a base game item sometimes, so whenever I can add it into a build, I'm like, yes, this is amazing, because it's one of my favorite items. You can get postcards from anything from, you know, like just your pen pals all the way to, I think, that one hamster. I've been playing with it on stream, and the hamster keeps sending us postcards, and it's amazing. I think it sent us like maybe 2 or 3 of them by now. It's pretty great. Here you can see I pulled them all out of the debug menu, which is where you'll find the postcards, and I just cluttered it up. I really wanted the parents to look like they traveled and they've just been around, and you know, they wanted to keep a lot of memories of it, so it looks really nice and I'm really, really happy with it. I should probably say that I'm really sorry that this video is like almost 30 minutes long. After I moved it to the 20x30, I just spent so much time. I probably had like 4 hours of footage just from recording this alone, where I was just like, oh, well, I'm still going. I'm still building it, and it's been like, you know, forever now. So it ends up looking really nice. Honestly, this is one of the nicer base game only builds that I've made, or at least that I think I've made. Not that you guys have really seen anything, because this is the first one I'll have posted on the channel, but for me, I really like it. I think it's great. Now, these girls, I really imagined that they were children, maybe twins, or maybe just around the same age. Maybe they were born, I guess, real person time, maybe a year or two apart. So they just share the bedroom. And they have a lot. The room is very symmetrical when it comes to like the beds and the shelving and stuff. But you can see I ended up cluttering it up with a lot of toys, and surprisingly everything was still functional. Honestly, I was shocked that the kids could even get into the bed because of that small space. But my sim actually walked right down the middle and then went into the bed, and I was like, oh, okay, that works. So sometimes Sims pathing works out in your favor, other times it does not. So they end up getting a lot of books and then school bags, and I love that pink backpack. That's one of the cutest items I think they have in the game, especially for like children or whatever. I ended up adding a lot of like wall art, and the little height chart is so cute for your kid Sims, and I feel like I have to put that in almost every kid's room just because of how cute it is. But I really hope you guys like it. Whenever I build rooms for girls, I always go overboard with pink, so I'm definitely gonna have to tone that down and maybe mix in some like blues and greens into it sometime soon, but that's something I'm gonna keep on my mind for when I'm doing this for sure, just to make sure that you guys aren't like, hey, there's too much pink, this really doesn't match the rest of the house, because that's what I was thinking when I was going through this. I was like, wow, this room sticks out like a sore thumb. You load into it and you're just like, oh, this is very pink. It's not even a little pink, this is very pink. So yeah, here we're moving on to the teens room, and they are definitely a little more clean, I guess, than probably the daughters are. I did end up giving them a painter's area, which again, both of those items are base game. I was really happy about that. They got a TV, a wardrobe, and then I think they got some like movie posters and a stereo in here. So it's your typical teen room, but it's definitely not as messy as the kids' room. I thought that the little painter area was probably as messy as they get. Probably because they like being creative, and I don't know, I've been really enjoying adding paintings and painter's equipment into my builds, especially because like with my Big Sister challenge I've been doing on Twitch, it really, really makes me happy seeing the paintings that they make. I don't know, I'm probably just jealous because I wish I could paint. I wish it was just that easy. I can draw sometimes, but nothing like what the Sims make, that's for sure. I did put a little divider in here just in case maybe like, somebody walked in and they were painting and they didn't want to be disturbed. So I thought that was really nice, especially for the teen. I can definitely see them being a neat sim. Like they keep things relatively clean and they don't like to leave messes around. Even with the painting, that little area is probably as messy as things get. Honestly, like the easel and the little painter's table being covered in paint, that's probably the extent of it. I did end up getting a little wardrobe in there, and I think that was it for the teens room. I ended up moving in here to the kitchen and the living and dining room, which I know I jump around a lot, but I like to get my basics down just so I know where I want everything, and then I go in and I just add so much clutter. Like for instance, this little garden hose. I feel like it gives it just such a homey and more lifelike feel, just adding something small like that literally has no significance in the game other than just existing there. So I don't know, I really enjoy that aspect. Here you can see I took out the shelves because I just couldn't find any clutter. I went through the debug menu and I just couldn't find anything that I wanted, so I think it looks a little bit better just having the cabinet there with the dishes exposed. Well, not exposed, but being seen through the glass. I thought it looked really nice. I did end up changing the sliding glass door to one of the medium wall height ones just so it looked a little bit better. And here you can see I'm just adding a bunch of paintings and rugs and little extra clutter just to make the place look a little more lifelike, which I think I did a good job at it. For me, it's so hard to mix like all the whites and the beige together and make everything look okay and not too white, I guess. Sometimes it's really hard because you're like, oh, I want to add a little bit of color, but everything needs to be white because it just looks a little bit better that way. See, like I was trying to change up the swatches just to give it more color, just to add like a little more pop here and there. I wanted to add an accent wall, but I just couldn't figure it out. I ended up putting a nice little backsplash on here, which I thought looked pretty nice, and I changed up the tile to one of the white ones that has like the gray tiles every so often to maybe look like either it's worn or maybe they just wanted that little, see that one right there. So maybe they just wanted, you know, a little bit of a different, you know, color theme to it. But it looks really nice in the end. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Oh, and one last thing I did want to mention. You can see I end up going into the menu, and I really wanted to add these candles that came with the free holiday pack. So it is base game, I consider it, because you guys should have these holiday items now because they are free. So it will list it as that when you guys go to download it from the gallery. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know how you like the video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye!